please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Bunton.
Here.
Campbell.
Here.
Dempsey.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Crop. Here. Menser.
Here. Announcements, acknowledgements, communications, or reports. Do we have any this evening? Seeing none. Adoption of the agenda.
Have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I would like to move 10C to 9G.
10C to 9G. 10C. Anything else? Anyone else? Need a motion?
Move to adopt the agenda as amended.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell. Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop. Yes. Menser.
Yes.
Public participation. This is the time you may address this body. All we ask is that you give us your full name, your name, residential address, and you adhere to our 3-minute rule.
Fast. Ruth Stevenson, 69 Bain Street. First of all, I'd like to give thanks to those who turned out on Saturday. We had a great time laughing, talking, getting poison ivy, and just cutting down branches and all the rest. It was a great event. And I'd like to thank Lamonte Hooper, Loretta Sipley, Jimmy Lee Jones, Jim Ketchum, Mickey Weiss, Donna Ferguson, Dr. David McFadden, Velma McCants, Sonny Ford, Casey Curatalo, General McCants, Ron Campbell, Denise Metzer, Rashida Hammond, and Trevor Stevenson. But kudos go out to Jeff Woods for the loan of his 3 special workmen, and in the guise of Steve, Paul, and Josh, who were just great. They kept us laughing, they kept us working, and it was just an awesome event. Also, thanks to Jeff Silverman of Little Caesars Pizzas on Cass and Grossbeck for his donation of pizzas and stuff for us for lunch. And it was just an awesome event. We thought, well, you know how you can always think you can just go down and just cut it out and all that. But it required a lot of work, and a lot of people did show up. But we're going to be doing this hopefully throughout the summer in order to get it all done, maybe a little sooner than that. So I'd just like to thank all of you for your participation and all the rest.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing it, Ruthie. Anyone else?
Sanders, 62 Michigan Street. I got a couple of problems. One, Michigan Street now sound like a darn kennel. On the weekends, you can't even sit outside. Them darn dogs bark from sun up to sundown, yapping all day long. The other thing is the man next door, 66, he still ain't cleaning up dog mess, okay? And the third thing, we need to do something about these kids playing basketball in the street. Very dangerous. They dot out between the cars, and on Michigan, about halfway between Michigan and Judge, they play right there. Very dangerous.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Gloria Heller, 260 Cass. You have to listen fast again. I've got a couple things. I see your new signer, the DDA's new reader board sign is up. Besides mentioning the cost of a 21,280, which is financed out of the TIF we give them that they don't need apparently. It's $94 a year to run it for electrical. And maybe people don't think about it, but there are people who will tell you that $94 to run that for 1 year represents 2 years of breakfast for some people in the city. Because if you take 94 and divide it by $3.34, you'll find that comes out to 28. So that could be 20. So you buy 24 months of breakfast plus a little extra that's left over with the water. You're 2 years of people's breakfast to run that sign that you didn't need, but you only had because somebody was too lazy to go out and put the letters on. And the city was too stupid to take the offer of myself and several others to go do the litter board for you. So that's number one. Number two, let's not do any more new hires. That's the way we can control this whole legacy costs and union mess. Bring in all contractors. I checked with a couple people. There's no reason we can't do that. It's working very well with Nancy Strail. And it is true that they can't set their own. I know all about the rules between an employee and a contractor. I used to nab people on it all the time when I worked at the IRS. However, you can make it with contractors. And certainly the residents can make it with the reduced cost of contractors as opposed to employees. And while I'm on the subject of HR, I did a little asking around because I've been concerned about the situation with the HR director. And I've talked to several people that are involved. And it turns out that Ms. Price is not qualified to do that job. There are two things that Barb Hergenroder did that are very important that Sarah has not done and has never done. One is being handled by the city manager, the other one's being handled by a woman who's already overburdened, which is the new finance director. So you cannot say that, oh, we have somebody we're not giving a job to when they've been here all these years and they've earned it. Well, she's not qualified and not trained. And of course, she's pregnant again, so there isn't time to train her. But at any rate, I just wanted to bring that up because that's been an issue. People worried about, oh, we're giving away a job to somebody that somebody else has earned. She hasn't earned it. She's not qualified. She's not experienced. She's not trained. And I did call Barb Hergenroder as well. Okay? So, at the same time, I also want to say I don't care for what the retread that Mr. Brown tried to bring to us to do that job as the department head because she was retired and she was going to be a retread and be brought back to work. We don't need that either. But please go to contract employees.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name's Rick Black. I live on Cambridge, 207 Cambridge. You got a couple, three issues. I think they all have respect to your item agenda 9E. It was just all this information is coming from the explanation that's, you got to go down about 70, 80 pages to find it, but it's there. Most of these are rhetorical questions, but a couple of them are some I'd like to have an answer to. At this point, the estimated budget is now going to have an extra $387,000 in it, according to the treasurer. It'd be nice to know what you're going to do with that. You've already going to spend $150. You've got allocated already. Let's see, it takes a second to find a couple of these things. They've got them marked, but we're not finding them. One of them is on the ice arena. I assume the city owns the ice arena. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. It says that we ended up with $115,000 less in rent for the ice arena, but the operator kicked in $125,000 for some improvements to it, so the water, the ice, the coolers, and something else. The question there is that, does this mean that we gained $11,000 because he didn't give us 114, but he spent $1.25? So does that mean we technically or theoretically gained $11,000? And if so, is this $125,000 a real number, or is this an estimate? And it could be $87,000, or it could be $140. So we're going to be short again next year on the rent.
No more rent. Bonds
I
paid.
noticed that quite a few of the comments for some of these things in here said that in your budget you anticipated X dollars for revenue and you got Y dollars less or Y dollars more, but yet it's consistent with prior years. I guess my question would be, how do you develop as close to an accurate budget as you can if you put a number out there and you know that the last 2, 3, 4 years, whatever, it hasn't been right? You've missed it by 30 or 40, so maybe you should adjust the way you do some of these things.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Dolores Kosiniak, 250 Euclid. I'm here tonight partly to represent Neighborhood Watch. Most of you I've seen got an email, what is it, on Facebook from someone that used to belong to our Neighborhood Watch, really ridiculing one of your councilmen. And they did not represent the Neighborhood Watch. We took him off. If you have any, I tell everyone, if you have any personal issues with anyone, just absorb it or go talk to that person himself. You know, life is too short, especially what happened to Orlando, all those people. And for myself, and I don't want to, cry about it, but I've been through a lot in the past 4 years between chemos and blood transfusions. And all I told God every morning was I just want to see my children graduate from grade school. Now one of them is graduating from college next year. The other two are in college. And he's given me this extended life. We're here for a reason. I still don't know what my reason is. But I know that I do want to apologize for the nasty letter that went out against Mr. Button, which never should have gone out, to be publicized to everyone. It's a wonder he didn't send it to the Macomb Daily and the Detroit News. So let's just ignore it. And the letter is not true anyway. A lot of things are not true. It was all exaggeration. So let's be careful what we say to each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I add one other thing? This is what I was looking for that I couldn't find.
Was his time up? Go ahead.
In your budget, you set aside $50,000 to work on the phone system and the communications in the building. You knew that wasn't enough because it says so you didn't bid it out because you didn't have any money to do it. So you took $100,000 out of this $400,000 or $387,000, you put it to it. So now you got $150,000 for a $100,000 project. Why didn't you just put 50 there and put the 50 somewhere else, the extra 50 somewhere else? So these are things that, when you put a budget together and do stuff like that, you need to look at these things.
Thank you.
Laura Fournier, 70 Lodwick Street. A few weeks ago, I couldn't be here last week, or the last meeting, but a gentleman stopped by that lives in my area, and he wanted to show me some pictures of an elderly lady, I shouldn't say elderly, a senior citizen, of which I am one. And, but she had fallen, tripped over a sidewalk hazard on South Wilson. She smashed her glasses, her face was all bruised. He took her to the hospital where they were there for 3 or 4 hours. Her husband was having health issues at the time, so he couldn't take her. And this is so sad because when you stop and think about it, South Wilson is considered one of the nicer streets in our area. There is no reason for the sidewalks to be in that kind of shape around there. I know that you've allocated last year $50,000 in the budget, and I believe 23 was spent in the fall, and 27 now is going to be spent on Crocker. I did listen to the commission meeting on video, and I certainly don't advocate the approach that you're taking on Crocker because since none of the streets get fixed in the city besides the major thoroughfares, that would leave most of the neighborhoods SOL. You'd never get there. And that brings up, of course, the streets. I listened to that lady on Grand, Miller, Euclid. I mean, we go on and on and on, but I realize that it's a very expensive project. But if you don't start somewhere, it'll never, ever, ever get done. And it only continues to get worse. Lodwick's starting to fall apart at one end now. And Church Street, well, I agree with the lady on Grand. Well, there are parts of it, especially down by Groesbeck. It's not bad by me. I have no complaints about Church Street. We keep talking about this. The mayor brought up about the ordinances. Are the ordinances, why don't we follow them? Mr. Bunton, you brought up about several times as we go over the last few years, why can't we have a program where we notify people? Even if we can't follow up, maybe we just got to tell them. But just having no program or no action, things are just going to get worse. And I would like to know what you're doing with the current $50,000, because if we don't have a program for fiscal 16-17, what are we going to do with that money? And why don't we have a plan right now to start using that this summer? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Administrative responses to previous meetings?
Nothing this week.
Nothing this week. Approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
Any changes, questions? Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop. Yes. Menser.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Okay, general business. 9A, approval of a resolution to create and fund a specialty court fund through the assessment of an additional $5 on each civil infraction and misdemeanor case. Need a motion?
Move to approve the resolution to create and fund the specialty court fund through the assessment of an additional $5 on each civil infraction and misdemeanor case.
Second.
Chief Judge Carrie Lynn Fuca and District Judges Sebastian Lucido and Linda Davis would like to request approval for the resolution to create and fund the specialty court fund through the assessment of an additional $5 on each civil infraction and misdemeanor case. That was brought forward by the 3 judges from the district court.
Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
A couple things. First of all, I believe isn't the Chief Judge Sebastian Lucido?
No, it's Fuca
When
this
did
year.
that change?
Changes year to year.
Okay. Second, in the motion, it says an additional $5 on each civil infraction and misdemeanor case. And yet you look at page 9, and it says effective this date, the 41B District Court located in the Township of Clinton shall collect no more than $10 on each civil infraction violation which results in conviction for the specialty court fund, with the allocation being $5 to the Veterans Treatment Court and the 41B Sobriety Court. So I think the motion is incorrect. It says an additional $5 when the resolution itself says $10.
No, it's $5 of the $10. They have already raised the fee to $10. They want $5 out of that $10 to put into the specialty court.
That's not clear to me.
But that's what I mean, I was at the meeting. They have been already collecting the fee, however, they want to take, eventually, they're funding these specialty courts by grants. And eventually, those grants are either going to dry up or they're going to get less money. So if that happens, to continue some of these funding of the courts, it'll come back to the cities and the municipalities, I should say. So what they're trying to do is look down the road already and say, okay, let's start putting some money aside. So that's what they're asking. They raise the fees by 10, but they want $5 of that $10 to go to the Specialty Veterans Court for future use, because they fear that down the road, they're not going to have the money to continue to support it.
Yeah, I guess I'm not understanding that, because in the first whereas, it says a set amount $5 of every fine and cost. And under number 2, under now therefore be it resolved, it says through a set of fines, $5 per specialty court, and then again, item number A, it says 10, with 5 to the 41B Veterans Treatment Court and the 41B Sobriety Court.
Right.
So that would be $5 per each court.
Correct.
Does that resolution make sense to you, Mr. Murray?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop. Yes. Menser.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, 9B, introduction and first reading of an ordinance authorizing the rezoning of property located at 168 North Groesbeck, 180 North Groesbeck, and 193 North Rose from I-1 Industrial Light Industrial to GC General Commercial. Need a motion?
Move to approve the introduction and first reading of an ordinance authorizing the rezoning of 168 North Groesbeck, 180 North Groesbeck, and 193 North Rose from I-1 Light Industrial to GC General Commercial. Yep.
Second.
On June 7, 2016, the Planning Commission held a public hearing on a rezoning request for property located at 168 North Groesbeck, 180 North Groesbeck, and 193 North Rose. The request would rezone the property from I-1 Light Industrial to GC General Commercial. The properties are located on the west side of Groesbeck Highway, immediately south of North Rose. The master plan has this property designated as commercial and office. The general commercial zoning would more closely match the existing land uses. The Planning Commission passed an 8-0 motion recommending that City Commission approve this request.
Questions?
Just, Brian, what's going to be developed on that property? What are they looking for?
The main driver behind the request is that Groesbeck Auto Sales is interested in converting the residential property at 168 North Groesbeck into an office, a financing office for that business.
No one else? Roll call.
Hill?
Yes.
Crop? Yes. Menser?
Yes.
Bunton?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Dempsey?
Yes. 9C, request approval of the sale of vacant city-owned lots. Need a motion?
Move to authorize the sale of parcel numbers 05-11-14-404-005 and 05-11-12-151-018 to Mr. Dan Kress for the amount of $1,500 and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the necessary documents executing the sale.
Do I have a second?
Support.
City Administration is recommending that the City Commission authorize the sale of the two parcel numbers that we just went through to Mr. Dan Kress of 21010 Harrington, Clinton Township for the amount of $1,500. The first 05-11-14-404-005 is located on northbound Gratiot Avenue south of Clinton River Drive and is a buildable lot. Second 05-11-12-151-018 is located on High Street just west of southbound Gratiot Avenue and is not a buildable lot, and that's brought forward by Brian Tingley, our Community Development Director.
Okay, questions, comments?
What are they trying to do with that lot?
I think at this point, they're just looking to invest property into the city. I know of no intention at this point to do anything with the buildable lot or the vacant, unbuildable lot.
Okay, just a curiosity that had nothing to do with that. What can you do with an unbuildable lot?
Combine it with an adjoining parcel.
Basically, that's it.
Correct.
Okay.
They don't own the adjacent parcels, do they?
They do not.
So why would
Unless
they buy?
unless they're related somehow, and I wasn't able to determine what that was, but
So basically, if they're, I mean, we're selling the lots to them, but they don't have anything planned for the future.
correct.
But it takes it off of our role to take care of it, maintain it,
Yes.
okay,
And get taxes.
and put it back on the tax roll. Commissioner
Well,
Menzer?
Property values, have gone up in the city. I'm just surprised that for a buildable lot, we can only get $750.
It's been vacant a long time, right?
Yeah, it's been vacant quite a while. I mean, and the amount of money that we're being offered, all the recent lot sales are all within that $500 to $2,000 range, for a buildable lot.
And just a couple of years ago, we actually listed all the vacant properties with the Realtor and came up with absolutely zero. And at that point, there was a thought that this property was worth, was even being, I think, carried on the books at a figure that was, real high, and they're just not worth much in the present environment.
If there was a higher demand for, new construction, new single-family construction, I think the lots would be selling for more, but I don't think that demand is there right now.
Okay.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Crop? Yes. Menser?
Yes.
Bunton?
Yes.
Campbell? Dempsey?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
9D, request approval to enter into an agreement with the Michigan Department of Transportation for the pavement repair of Church Street. Need a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution and approve the contract between the Michigan Department of Transportation and the City of Mount Clemens for the pavement repair of Church Street the MDOT contract number 16-5269 as presented, and to authorize the city manager and the public service director to sign and enter into the agreement.
Support.
Enclosed for your review is the Surface Transportation Program contract along with the municipal resolution for the pavement repair of Church Street. This is a contractual document between the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT, and the City of Mount Clemens, which outlines the performance of the project and the project costs. The total cost for the repair of Church Street is estimated at $458,200. Federal Surface Transportation Fund shall be applied to 81.85% of the applicable project cost. The remaining balance, approximately $83,200, will be funded by the city's Major Streets Fund. The attached resolution is necessary in order to specifically name the officials who are authorized to sign said contract. Please be advised this contract has been reviewed by the city attorney and was brought forward by our Public Services Director, Jeff Wood.
Questions, comments? Commissioner Button?
The repair, is that the same as repaving or resurfacing? Is that basically what we're saying?
Not entirely. This is a concrete roadway, and so it's going to be patches where there's bad sections. We're going to cut out those bad sections, remove them, and replace them.
So it'll be concrete and then
It's all going to be repaired with concrete. So we're going to cut out the existing bad spots.
I'd refer to it as a sectioning or street sectioning project. Basically, you're taking specific sections of the roadway that have bigger problems than elsewhere and fixing those sections with concrete. Sort of a big patching program on that road, but using concrete.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. Where the water main, where the major water main break was, is that one area that's going to get?
That is going to be repaired, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell. Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
9E, request approval of the 2015-2016 fiscal year budget amendments for all city funds and assign $150,000 to the general fund balance. Need a motion?
I move to amend the City of Mount Clemens 2015-2016 fiscal year budget as submitted, assign $50,000 of general fund balance to establish a retiree health care trust and assign $100,000 of general fund balance for capital outlay for a new phone system and voice data connections between buildings.
Support.
Attached, please find the budget amendments for all city funds. Michigan's Uniform Budgeting and Accounting Act, as amended by Public Act 621 of 1978, require subsequent amendments to the original adopted budget, parentheses, general appropriations resolutions, for any activity that exceeds its budget appropriation. Attached is a summary of the adjustment request in each fund, and there's multiple pages that were provided following the resolution that detail the individual funds and the changes for each of those funds. General fund was estimated to net approximately $250,000 with revenues exceeding expenditures when the 2015-16 fiscal year budget was established. After 11 months of activity and review of this budget, approximately $387,000 is now projected to be available in general fund, primarily due to lower than estimated expenditures. The recommended motion requests that $50,000 of the general fund balance be assigned to establish a retiree health care trust, and $100,000 of the general fund balance be assigned for capital outlay. Plant Moran City Auditors has recommended that the city begin to fund the nearly $60 million retiree obligation in a trust, as most communities have already taken steps to do. The current net obligation is $6.7 million, as shown in the June 30th, 2015 audit report. The $50,000 from the general fund balance will be used to partially fund this trust. The capital outlay will be to replace the outdated phone system used by city buildings that operate on T1 lines, which are being eliminated, and improve the voice data connection between city buildings. The estimated cost is $100,000. The city had set aside $50,000 in the current budget, but did not bid out any portion of this project due to the estimated funding shortfall. The improved data connection will dramatically increase the connection abilities, the communication abilities of our outbuildings, the fire, DPW, and wastewater treatment plant, and improve the connection to the city's internet-based software such as Munis and BSNA. And that's brought forward by Linda Kunith, our Finance Director Treasurer.
Questions, comments? Commissioner Button?
I guess, Linda, a question. Is this $100,000, is that a solid figure for the phone system, or is there some negotiation in there? And I guess somewhat with Mr. Bonk, that money was already somewhat designated for that area. Are we mingling that together? Or?
Absolutely. We had the $50,000 available this current fiscal year, but as I would assume the budget and got into the project, soon realized that was not enough. Fiber connection between the fire department and City Hall, we're working with the county with. I mean, that project alone is somewhere, $10,000 to $20,000 for just that piece of getting the proper connection needed to communicate with dispatch. And it goes much further. It's a connection, maybe not fiber-based, but getting proper connection between each of the buildings beyond the fire and City Hall, going out to DPW, wastewater treatment plant, and that would also enhance, it's kind of both. The phone system is a piece of, can't get a new phone system until we have the proper connection that they can actually talk. Our phone system right now works on T1 lines, and those T1 lines are becoming obsolete, and the only way that we can get a new phone system is to have a new communication base. It has to be installed, it has to be engineered, and that's what we're working a lot with the county with. We're looking at possibly getting a consultant like other communities have, and the $100,000 should be enough to cover all of that, is what we're hearing based on our size and our needs. And we would definitely want to stay within that for the phone system, as well as all the connections that we need to properly communicate and use the software that we have at a faster speed than what we are now. Some of the outbuildings, it takes quite a while to just get connection going because it's so slow.
So the $50,000 that we already set aside, and is that going to go with that $100,000?
Yeah, the $50,000 we've already set aside, and we're asking for an additional $50,000 for the complete project, to get the complete project done. So we already had a savings, and rather than have it go directly to the fund balance, we're asking to have it assigned within the fund balance, designated for that capital outlay, and then we'll add in an additional $50,000 rather than putting it to fund balance, adding that to it.
Okay.
That's what the request. That's what the assignment request is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the answer, yes.
Were there RFPs that went out for this?
No, we have not sent the RFPs out. We've talked to other communities. We've looked at other RFPs out on the Mitten site, and talked to other communities that have put in such project, and we're looking at that our project should be able to be complete within that $100,000, and working with the county as well, having communication with them on what's entailed, and getting the proper communication for our dispatch to the fire department.
Thank you.
So I'm going to give you an example of what delaying does. In 2014, in September of 14, all of the departments put together a spreadsheet of their needs. On this spreadsheet, it says, under finance, and absolutely you were not here, so it says new phone system. Phone equipment is becoming obsolete. Failures such as the wastewater treatment plant have been addressed with refurbished equipment, but a system update such as the VoIP is in order. At that time, the cost estimate was $85,000. In 2015, early 15, when the county offered us to move to Talmer, the VoIP phone system was included free. So we also had a bid from 2014 from a company located in Mount Clemens, Metro Technologies, that gave us an hourly figure and based it on 60 hours that would identify the current state of our infrastructure, that would identify applications and versions of software, that would identify the voice requirements and document all of the above, and then plan the projects, plan the migration for legacy software system, project schedules and project budgets, and we've let that go, and now it's costing us an additional $15,000. So I'm just expressing my disappointment that we're still sitting on the same thing. Absolutely no fault of yours.
Anyone else?
Believe prices have increased over the years anyway. I mean, across the board, you could find additional costs, and I don't know, 15,000 out of 100,000 or 100 more thousand is not exactly a great deal of loss. I'm not saying that was trivial, but you can expect. You can't buy the car today or and pay for what you paid for it 2 years ago. It just won't happen. So, you know, I'm sure that we're doing the best we can with that, and I appreciate the efforts we're making on that regard. And I know that it is important to get that set up, because I do remember a period of time where this building couldn't connect to the other building because things were not in order. So thank you very much for getting that started.
But in addition, some of the work would have been cheaper because the county is running fiber throughout on a new fiber ring from the Comtech building on Groesbeck to the administration building and out to Little Road. So some things might cost more, but some things would have been much cheaper. Again, I was just
Again, the biggest
expressing
problem we
my
had, we didn't
disappointment.
have any money back then. We couldn't have even afforded to do that. Had we had the money, I'm sure that would have been a priority to get done. We all know how important that is, but we did not have the money. So yes, we are increasing by 15,000, but we didn't have even the 85,000 to look at. So that was the reason, basically, so unfortunately. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Bunton.
Yes?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crab.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
9F, approved purchase and payment of invoices.
Move to approve the purchases of invoices as presented.
Support.
Any questions on any of the invoices, or? No? Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crab.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Okay, 9G, which is 10C, request permission to hold a worship center church 5K on Sunday, July 17th, 2016. Need a motion?
Move to approve the Worship Center Church 5K on Sunday, July 17th, 2016, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Support.
The Worship Center Church is requesting permission to hold a 5K event on Sunday, July 17th, 2016, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The event would include parishioners and families participating in a 5K walk and run through the downtown. A map of the route is enclosed. No street closures are being requested. The run walk will take place on city sidewalks. Volunteers will be stationed at crosswalks at those points where the route crosses an intersection. A certificate of liability insurance naming the city will be required as a condition of approval, and that's brought forward by Brian Tingley, Community Development Director.
Commissioner Menser?
I just wondered, because we have talked about sidewalks since 2014. So the sidewalks, as we know, are in bad condition. So I'm just wondering if the certificate of liability covers the city should somebody trip and fall on those sidewalks, and if we should have some kind of other, I don't know, legal statement that says, if you trip and fall on our sidewalks during this run walk, the city is not liable. I guess I'm addressing that to you, Mr. Murray.
The purpose of them providing insurance is to defend and pay any claims that are made against the city, so that our carrier does not become involved. And it says that it is primary insurance, which means our carrier does not even cover the costs of defense. They have to. And you could have them sign a assumption of risk sometimes, like to play ball. There's certain leagues that make you sign an assumption of risk, but we normally don't do that because we don't know how many people are involved. It's pretty onerous, and the insurance does provide us with the protection we need.
Okay. That's all I wanted.
Roll call, please.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crab.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
City manager's report?
Consent.
I'm sorry. Oh, consent agenda. I'm going to skip the consent agenda. Motion on the consent agenda, please.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented, except for the one we took out.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Hill.
Yes.
Crab.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes. Now the city manager's report.
Several items for this week's agenda, Your Honor. Number one, additional sidewalk information. I provided some additional information, redistributed a packet of information that was discussed at a March 2nd, 2015 work session on sidewalk options. Per discussion at the June 4th, 2016 commission meeting recently, we do plan to proceed with scheduling another work session on the subject as well. The 2015 package has information on items such as the appeals process question, though it wasn't specifically referred to as that, ideas on how we could organize our efforts in the city, i.e. districts, and estimates of costs. In terms of cost estimates, we had a range of projected expenses based on a percentage of squares requiring replacement. The following summarizes those estimates. If we had a 50% experience on the squares in the city, it would be $5.6 million. 40%, $4.5 million, 30%, $3.4 million, and 20%, $2.2 million. Further information, our cost recovery on the initial costs incurred with the fall of 2015 activity is going very well. In fact, I do have a little bit more concrete information on that than I did at the time that I crafted this. The ballpark estimate of what we've recovered on the expenses at the city fronts when we do this work, the cost recovery just in about a month's time has been about 87%. So if it was $23,000, we've recovered around $20,000, and we expect that we'll have a similar experience with the spring activity, and that additional funding would then go towards the fiscal year 2017 sidewalk program, where we were going to set aside $50,000. If we get in a neighborhood of $40,000 cost recovery, just from the standard billing that we would do, that would give us about $90,000, and then we do have the tax liens that would be in play for the balance of expenses that weren't reimbursed by individual property owners. So that's the plan that we have for going forward, is adding that cost recovery on a year in and year out basis to the $50,000 that we would set aside or have set aside for 2017. Secondly, the Independence Day celebration. I wanted to make mention of that. Mount Clemens is once again hosting the premier fireworks display in the area. This year's event is on Friday, June 24th, 2016. Plans include a food truck, stilt walkers, face painting, etc., but there are basically two primary aspects to the celebration. The River Sight and Sound concert at 8 p.m. featuring Magic Bus, which is sponsored by the generous people at Oakland University, as well as C&G newspapers. And then the fireworks at dusk, which is sponsored as usual by the Wayne and Joan Weber Foundation, and as everybody knows that's attended in the past, absolutely first-rate, first-class fireworks display, so we encourage people to come out and enjoy the festivities and the fun. So again, that's June 24th. Third, digital sign update. The city's new digital information sign is being installed at the corner of, actually was installed at the corner of Cass and northbound Gratiot during the week of June 13th. This project was funded through our Downtown Development Authority. The new sign will be more energy efficient with LED lighting and will allow instantaneous updates for sharing information with our community. Also, the updating process can be done remotely, which will free up city staff to address other service needs. As an example, we'll be able to use this sign to share information about how to get to and to get from our Independence Day celebration on June 24th. The information will be updated for how to arrive in town before the fireworks begin, and then for how best to exit from downtown after the fireworks show is completed. So we're very excited about that. If you had a chance to see it, beautiful sign and lots of new capabilities that we're going to have to provide information to our residents and people interested in Mount Clemens. Number 4, we had website information that I have on here. City administration's been working on a variety of enhancements to the city website. Most of this recent work can be seen on the homepage with new and/or revamped buttons added. These buttons allow users of our website to easily access the most important and most frequently used sources of information. Administration is using and intends to use this section of the homepage to highlight current initiatives and assist with public outreach. As an example, we're currently going through our master plan update process, and we have a button established where residents can access that master plan update during the 40-day comment period that is going on currently. And then people will then be able to use the recently created button on the same homepage for providing feedback to us, so they can let us know what thoughts and comments they have on the master plan update. We will modify these buttons on an ongoing basis as new initiatives and needs come up. We hope to encourage people to come back more often to our website and to use these new features as we add fresh opportunities to learn more and interact with the City of Mount Clemens. As always, we continue to look for ways to improve the flow of the website, the organization, the accessibility of information, etc. So we encourage anybody with any thoughts about our website to share them with a call, an email, or that aforementioned feedback button that's on the website in multiple locations. So that's all that I have for this week, Your Honor. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you. Commissioner comments?
I do have a question.
I'm sorry.
You talked about cost recovery of the sidewalks.
Correct.
Is that means that not everybody who was billed for the sidewalk has paid, is that correct?
That is correct.
Is there any plan to try to recover that money?
That's where we go to tax lien if necessary and place a tax lien on the property that we would recover when the taxes are paid. Theoretically, we'll be recovering additional funds through that process, and that funding would also be made part of the next year's process.
Okay, thank you.
We're not giving up at 87%, but we're pretty pleased with that. It's only been a month, so that figure likely will go up as well.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, commissioner comments. How about Commissioner Button?
First thing, I'd like to reiterate my comments about Men's Health Month, and men, go out and get yourselves checked out, especially that thing called prostate. But all of those items need to be checked out and keep yourself healthy. And I guess that kind of ties in with Father's Day. You can't be a good father if you're not around. So if you take care of your health, you'll be there for your children to grow up, and they don't go away when you grow up anyway, so they'll be around till you're gone. So, get yourselves checked out. I think that's an important thing. So for those also who it pertained to, I hope you had a very happy Father's Day, and I hope things went well for you. Just a reminder, the Mount Clemens Community Coalition for Youth and Families has secured a possibility of getting $2,000 in community programs from the CNG News paper system. So it's a thing where you have to vote. So what we want you to do is to go either at the CNG News site or on our web page. They have a link to it, so you can go there and vote. But the issue here is just like Dancing with the Stars and all that other stuff. Vote as many times as you possibly can, and just vote until we get the money, because we want to do a lot of really great things in the city, but unfortunately we have financial restraints. So help us out. And for those of you who don't know what the Mount Clemens Community Coalition and for Youth and Families is, our mission is to prevent and reduce substance abuse in our community through education and awareness activities, _activities. Our goal is to create a safe, healthy community by building and supporting strong families and neighborhoods. Happy first day of summer. I think we've had a few of those already, but today is the first day officially of summer. And I guess I'm going to pick one of our Commissioner Wisdoms. I'm going to pick one that's kind of philosophical. Okay. It is a rough road that leads to the height of greatness, and that's by Lucius Seneca. And with that, we'll say good night.
Thank you. Commissioner Menser.
I'd like to congratulate the graduates of Mount Clemens High School. I would like to say how pleased I was to see that they toured Martin Luther King Academy in their caps and gowns, paraded through the hallways. It encourages the younger children to achieve that, and it was, I think, great for them. And I think our camera lady was part of that celebration. Congratulations, graduates. That's all.
Okay. Commissioner Crop.
I would like to thank the DDA for the new sign. I think it is a great addition to that corner, and I'm looking forward to all the information that we can get from it quickly. I would like to just mention a concern that was raised at my coffee talk last week, that there are pools in the neighborhoods that are not being used anymore, but they're still holding water, and so if we can have our blight people, there were some addresses given, and I'll transfer them on to the blight officers, but I just wanted to kind of announce that if you have a pool and you aren't using it, then take it down, because it does cause mosquito infestations, which we know carry diseases and make people sick. So do your due diligence to get rid of those. I'd also like to mention that it is, of course, summer and people are outside and they are riding their bikes and using our sidewalks, hopefully very carefully. But also, our kids are out. And of course, this is near and dear to my heart because I have 2 rugrats who are frequently out on Bellevue Street. People, please slow down. And I don't care if it's my neighborhood or Seminole Hills or I don't care what quadrant you're in. Slow down. Most residential streets are 25 miles an hour, and even that's fast. And please get off your phones while driving. Commissioner Menzer, can you speak to that? It would be a terrible tragedy this summer for one of our children to be hit by a car. I'm any resident, of course, but there are kids who get to play. We want to be the neighborhoods that kids can go out and play. That's why people live in Mount Clemens, because we are still the old neighborhoods that people can go out and play. And so I hope that that doesn't stop because of people flying down these streets. I know that Bellevue is a wide street and people use it as they think they're getting to Gratiot quicker, but please slow down. Of course, on that note, I also have noticed an increase in fireworks at night because my dog keeps trying to climb in bed with me. And so she's not small, she's 70 pounds. So if I know we have an ordinance with that as well, 3 days before state law. What is it?
Our ordinance
Day
is the same
before.
as state law.
It's a
It's
state,
the day
right?
before
And the day after.
and the day
So,
after.
right.
So it amounts to 3 days in a row. Day before.
Day before the
after,
holiday?
day after.
Okay, so if you're lighting fireworks, firecrackers now, you are in violation of our city ordinance. So July 3rd, July 4th, July 5th, they are legal. If not, you're doing an illegal activity. Please keep in mind there are a lot of people who are sensitive to that, like our veterans and apparently our dogs. I would like to, of course, say also a happy 4th of July to everyone, and I hope that it is safe and you have a good time with all of your families. Thank you.
Commissioner Hill.
Today, June 20th, is the summer solstice. And not only is this the longest day of the year, there will be a full moon tonight. This has not happened in more than 70 years and will not happen again until 2094, that we have a full moon on the summer solstice. It is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We will have over 15 hours of daylight, and the sun and the moon will both be seen in the sky at the same time. So watch the sky tonight. I hope everyone is doing well in this hot weather, and I wish you all a good evening and a great week.
Thank you. Commissioner Campbell.
Yeah, I just have one comment regarding the resident that came in about the house which is next to him, which I saw more than 2 years ago, and nothing's changed. Could we have a report at the next meeting as to who went out there and what actions were taken on this property? Because I've seen it. I know what it's like to have a problem property. I have one across the street from me. So we need to have a plan put in place. I'm free for the summer. I'll be more than happy to go out there and help the code enforcement with this problem.
Real quick, Commissioner, that's 66 Michigan you're referencing? Is that correct?
That what it was, 66?
Yeah.
62.
He-
Oh, no,
he
that's
was-
your address.
Okay. I just want to make sure it was the one he referenced earlier, so.
That's it. Thank you.
With that, I need a motion to go into an exec session, city manager's performance review and evaluation.
I move to go into executive session for the purpose of city managers, I'm not reading this, city managers.
Evaluation review.
Thank you. So moved.
Second.
Support.
Roll call.
Hill.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes. 5-minute recess. Okay, I think we have a couple motions that we need to address.
I move to terminate the employment agreement dated July 7th, 2014 by and between the City of Mount Clemens and Stephen M. Brown, effective immediately.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Okay, discussion or roll call?
Menzer.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Okay. Second motion?
I move to appoint Lisa Borges as the interim city manager, effective immediately, and direct the city attorney to negotiate and draft an appropriate amendment to her employment agreement as city clerk and to reflect the same for the approval by the city commission.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Discussion?
I make a comment, please.
Yeah, I guess you can.
Just like to say thank you to the mayor and commission for the opportunity to serve here at the city of Mount Clemens for almost 2 years as the city manager. It's unfortunate things haven't worked out for a longer term employment relationship. I find that to be regrettable and wish that that were not the case. But again, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to serve here for 2 years and wish the city all the best. I think there's a lot of good things going on in this town. I think there's a lot of opportunity in this town. And I think it's on the cusp of a lot of good things happening, and I wish the elected officials, I wish the residents of the town, I wish the business community all the best and all the success in the future. So
Yeah, we got to finish this motion.
I wanted to say it before the vote.
Okay. Roll call.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
Okay. Number 3.
I move to direct the city attorney to contact the Michigan Municipal League's Executive Search Service to initiate selection process for a permanent city manager.
Do I have a second? Okay. Roll call?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Okay. I do have one announcement. We did receive $46,677 from the 41B District Court. So that's our share of the excess revenue that they have received this past fiscal year. So
Isn't that a lot more than we were expecting?
a little bit more, but you know, as long as we keep getting checks, it's great because that means we don't have to subsidize them.
What was the amount again?
$46,677.
Wow.
And it's on a rolling 5-year scale. I think it's 3 or 5 year percentage of tickets and things like that. So that's how we come to that amount. So I wanted to make sure that we thank the courts for doing a good job. With that, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.